Hey, Billy Bob. Can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go. Yep, gotcha. How's your mom?
Oh, she's doing pretty good. She I don't know if she had a couple of surgeries and just really knocked her down pretty hard. She's 85 and she's been in rehab back home and things are looking up. I think physically she's probably in better shape now than she was before all this happened. But
Oh,
yeah, she's kept us busy right here lately, but she's doing well.
yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Does she live nearby?
Um, she lives probably about 15 minutes from me in Raleigh. So she's far enough away. She has her independence and um, yeah, I'm not stepping on her toes.
Are you the only kid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all in your lap. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I've had my issues as well. But things are good.
You doing all right
Life is
too?
good.
Are you coming back strong?
Well, I've been pronounced clean, cancer free, but the radiation has just it's been tough trying to get over. Chemo didn't work, um, but it's been a little over a year now, and I've heard it could be anywhere from, like, depending on the type radiation, how much you get, something like a year and a half, maybe 3 years.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I'm not a spring chicken anymore anyway, so that's probably got something to do with it.
Yeah. So is the consequence you're just real tired all the time?
Um, I don't appear to be tired until I jump into something and start doing it. Stamina is just not there.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best with that. I had an identical twin brother who actually died from cancer in 2010. And
I'm sorry.
yeah, that whole process was just unbelievable. And then, everyone always told me growing up, you're identical twins. And I'm going, shit, what does that mean for me? But luckily, so far, my only affliction is how lazy I am and tend to spend too much time on a computer and not get enough exercise. But
Yeah,
it's hot around here, man. Geez, you guys have it
yeah,
hot. I'm from
yeah,
northern New York.
yeah. I'm I'm down at the beach. We're getting ready to do my birthday weekend with son, daughter, mother, 6 grandkids, a 2-month-old puppy, and
Oh my God.
so it's I've been outside trying to get some stuff done around the pool, and I had to jump in the pool to try to cool off. It was humid yesterday.
Yeah, it's been really hot here. We were in Asheville last week, and it wasn't hot there, but it rained like crazy. Just about every single day. It wasn't constant, but near constant. And I don't think it got above about 70 the whole time. But when it's raining that hard, you can't, you can go out, but it's not that much fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Branson, how are you, buddy?
Fine. How about yourself?
Good. You look like you're on the road there.
Yep. I had to go get my morning coffee and head back to my home office.
Oh, good. That looks
I
like
was
a
up.
serious cup of coffee there, man. I don't know. Better be.
Huh?
That looks like a serious cup of coffee. Be careful with that thing.
I don't know if you know, but I drink about 10 cups of coffee a day.
Oh my God.
Oh,
That size?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's more like 50 cups of coffee. What are you talking about, man?
I consider it. I'm a big person, so I consider this 1 cup.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think I could sit still if I drink that much coffee.
That's how I get so much stuff done, sir.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead. We've had a couple of people tell me that they're running late, and a couple of people tell me that they got this or that to do. So it may just be us today, but we'll soldier ahead anyway, right? So
Yes, sir.
let's see if we can get that going. And I warn you, this guy's got terrible language, so don't be offended. Hopefully you won't. His content is good, but his language is pretty bad for an adult.
I'm David Mandel. I am the founder and CEO of Pivot Desk. We help entrepreneurs find room to grow their businesses. We went through Techstars in 2012 here in Boulder, and have been busting our asses to try and grow the business ever since. Prior to doing startups, Pivot Desk was actually my fourth startup, but prior to doing startups, most of my career was actually marketing, PR, communications in Manhattan. A couple of agencies, worked for a couple of really big firms, a couple of really big clients. So I have some background in messaging, positioning, and pitching, and that kind of thing. Now, you guys, I know, haven't gotten deep into the pitch yet. Some of you probably think you're okay at it because we've gone through some mentor meetings and I've heard them, but trust me, you suck. And you suck just because no one's really told you the right way to pitch your business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Inherent in the pitch is a lot of things that we'll get into. This is not just about pitching a demo day. And that's like the biggest point I want to make here, right? Like, demo day is a single day event. What we're going to talk about today is how you're going to pitch your business for the rest of your career in this business. And I joke around a lot, but I'm actually dead serious. If you're the CEO or any senior executive at a startup, and someone breaks into your house or apartment at 3 a.m, rests you up on the shoulders and says, "What do? You sit up and you pitch." Right? And if you can't do that, you don't have the pitch down. You will be so goddamn sick of this pitch, but that's okay. That's how it should be, because no one else has heard it, right? You've heard it over and over and over. But remember, you've got to get out of your own shorts, right? People aren't here listening to you every day. They've never heard it. So you've got to have it down. It's got to be reactionary. It's got to be ingrained. And you've got to keep iterating on it. So it's a very, very important thing. And I'll get into some of the reasons why as we kind of go forward. So why is the pitch critical? The pitch does a couple of things for your business, right? And a lot of the feedback I get from Techstars companies when I talk to them earlier on the program is, I don't worry about my pitch yet. I got to grow my business. I got to hire a dev. I got to build out the database. I've got to find customers. I've got to show growth. Like, don't fucking bug me about the pitch yet. And you're missing a really big point. The pitch is critical because, by a show of hands here in this room, how many people have too much money? How many people have too many resources? How many people have too much time and just don't know what to do with it? Right? None of you. Every single one of you is resource constrained, money constrained, people constrained. The only real weapon you have is focus. Focusing everything you do have in one direction at one goal. Because as soon as you start spreading resources, you're wasting time, you're wasting money, you're losing ground in the fight. The first thing the pitch does is keep you and your entire company focused. By having a good pitch, which is clear about why you're doing what you're doing, where you're going, why people should care, why you're different, why you're better, everybody that comes into work that day at your company knows exactly why they're doing what they're doing, what they should be doing, and what the goal is. And if something comes up on the roadmap that isn't critical to that goal, they can make a decision and understand they shouldn't be wasting their time there. So the pitch is really important to keep you focused. The second thing it does is it helps you test your business. If you think you've nailed the pitch and no one's reacting, you haven't nailed the business. So you need to keep figuring out what's right and what's wrong. Right? So this is a lot more than getting up on stage and pitching at demo day. This is about keeping your business focused, moving forward in a very specific way, and helping you drive success in your company. Do we understand that? Because that's really important, because I always get, "Oh, don't bug me about the pitch." And then I sit down with the team, like, "What do you guys do?" It's like, "Oh, here's what we do, and we do this." And then I ask another, it's like, "Well, we kind of do this too," and like, we kind of do bullshit, right? You all have to be the same. And everyone in your company should know the pitch. Everyone. This is not just about the person that's pitching the business. So let's get into like the first big lesson about pitching in startups. And this, like, if you remember one thing from this talk, remember this. Nobody gives a shit what you do. You think it's really cool. You're in your office every day building shit and doing cool stuff. Nobody gives a shit what you do. They only care about how you're going to help them. And this is like, I can tell you 99.9% of the startups I talk to do this wrong. I said, hey, tell me about your business. It's like, well, we're a connected network of interplanetary social, local, mobile applications that helps you evolve data from here to here. And I don't give a fuck. That's what you do. I don't care what you do. What I care about is how you're going to help me. Why are you going to make my life different? Don't ever tell me what you do. Tell me why I should care, and I'll give you an example. So Pivot Desk is a technology-enabled real estate platform that handles monthly financial and communication transactions between leaseholders and tenants. That's what we do. It's exactly what we do every day. How interesting is that? Someone asked me, what's Pivot Desk? Come on.
What's Pivot Desk?
Thanks for asking. Real estate is static. Businesses are dynamic. When you're out there busting your ass to build your business, the last thing you want to do is bet your business on a 5-year lease when you don't even know how big you're going to be 5 months from now. Pivot Desk helps you grow your business the way it should grow, not the way real estate dictates, by helping you either share your extra space with a company that needs it, or finding the right space for now without committing to a long-term lease. Understand the difference? Nobody gives a shit what you do. They care about why you're going to make their life better. So inherent in that is emotion. Nobody buys because of logic. They buy because of emotion. They justify the purchase with logic. So start with emotion. If you cannot open up an emotional window in your target audience's mind, they will not care about you. What that does is gives you the permission to go deeper. You have to understand their pain. Really, businesses are built on pain and making pain go away. So until you can open that emotional window, understand their pain and understand what they're dealing with, they won't give you the permission to go deeper. Once they feel an emotional connection with what you're doing, then they're more than happy to say, okay, cool, tell me how that works. How do I do this? How do I get involved? Or how are you better than this? Right now you have an opportunity to talk more and to go deeper and to really connect with who your audience is. So like, I know the pain of my audience. We talked about the entrepreneurial pain just now, right? But there's a lot of other constituents in who we serve, right? There's brokers, there's landlords. I know every single one of their pain. And I know how to communicate with them. And I'll give you a great, like, real example that you'll get in a second. So we were invited, CBRE in LA hosted an event for all like real estate tech companies to come set up little booths, and then everyone had like a 90-second pitch to talk about what they were doing for all their brokers. And it was probably 60 or 70 brokers. And it was just a big line of CEOs like getting up and doing their 90-second pitch. And I was, I think, 14th or 15th in line. And you could tell, like, after the third or fourth person, every single broker in the audience was like this. Just sitting on their phone, doing their email, completely numb to what was going on. And I saw this. I'm like, oh, good. This is gonna suck. So I gotta like do something different. So I get up there, and before I start my pitch, say, hey, I'm David Mandel. I'm the CEO of Pivot Desk. I started Pivot Desk because I fucking hate real estate. Every single broker stood up, put their phone down, and started listening. I said, I hate real estate because it puts you between a rock and a hard place when you're trying to help customers. You spend your life stuck between a static infrastructure and dynamic companies and trying to fit those two together, not making anybody happy, struggling with both sides. What I want to do is give you a tool, a solution that lets you help your customers in a way that you become their partner, not a salesperson, and still helps you close the leases that your landlords are demanding. And then everybody listened. So you understand the difference of emotion? I went right for their pain point. I shocked them, and they went right for their pain point. And that's why they gave me the permission to talk more about what it is I do. Otherwise, no one, not a single person in that audience would have remembered who we were. Yes?
So really, you have a set of pitches that are context sensitive. So when you were talking about making sure everybody in your company knows your pitch, do they all have to have all of those and know when to use the right one? Or
I have one pitch. I start it a little differently based on who I'm talking to. But I know how you deal every day trying to help customers that's why Pivot Desk works. We help companies grow their business the way it should grow. But so we go right into the same pitch every time. But think of it this way, you need one pitch that works for every audience. You may start it off slightly differently depending on who you're talking to, but it's the same damn pitch. And once you're finished, you can go in either direction you want. The pitch is all about connecting and getting the opportunity to say more.
so with your target and the different constituents, I guess obviously you were able to find a commonality between us poor bastards who are trying to rent space and the people who are trying to take our money.
Yeah. I could start without any different intro, regardless of who my audience is. And I do this often, like when I talk at either startup conferences or real estate conferences or broker, it's the same pitch. It works for every single one of them because they all understand the pain of the ecosystem that they live in. They have different motivations, and that's what I go to afterwards. But it's always the same pitch. So let's talk about the actual meat of how this works, right? So this is the positioning framework. Who's your target audience? What's their pain? What's your value prop? Who are your competitors? And what's your differentiation? You have to know these things about your business. You have to be able to very, very specifically define each of these things. And when I say specifically, I mean specifically. I talk to a lot of companies like, who's your target market? It's like, well, this is kind of cool for everyone. Like if you're trying to sell to everyone, you're not going to sell to anyone. You don't have the marketing budget, the bandwidth, the time to try and sell anything to everyone. Pick who they are. Understand their pain. Understand why they care, why they should care. What's your real value prop? Competitors. When I say competitors, it doesn't necessarily have to be another business that does what you do or close to what you do. Your competitors could be time on your phone. It could be hanging out with your kid. Like, what are the things distracting people? Or what are the other things people will be doing except other than using your product or service? So understand what you're competing with and differentiation. Why are you better? Why should they care? So let's go actually think it through. So these are the sentences you should be writing. Once you get these down, this becomes your positioning. I don't mean verbatim, right? So you heard me talk about Pivot Desk before. I didn't say this, but all of this was in there, right? You have to know this first. So 4, who's your target audience? very specifically. Very specifically. Entrepreneurs trying to figure out where to put their business. Brokers trying to close deals for companies that they can't help or couldn't help before or are frustrated. Right? Very, very specific. Pain. Don't want to commit to a long-term lease or are trying desperately to find a space that works for both their customer and their landlord. Tired of signing leases that aren't good for their business. Like, what is their specific pain that you're addressing? Value prop. We help you grow your business the way it should grow, not the way real estate dictates. We help you find solutions for customers you could never help before. We help you become their partner instead of a salesperson. As opposed to the traditional way, where you have to bet your business on a lease that you have no idea is right for your business, or you have to risk pissing off a customer or client because they end up in a bad lease, or you have to say no to somebody because you can't help them in the traditional option. We look at it differently. We provide a matching marketplace that helps you find space for companies that can't sign a lease yet, or helps you help your companies that signed a long-term lease and have no idea when they're going to need all of it by finding the right companies for them to share that space with. Right? And I'll go deeper, but you have to have these answers as specifically as possible to understand your business. If you can't answer any of these right now, you need to figure it out. Remember, this is not your pitch, but this is the basis, the framework, the whole foundation of your pitch. Until you know these things, you cannot get up and pitch well. Finally, this isn't easy. People want to do this quickly. They're going to leave this meeting and you're going to write your positioning down and you say, okay, I'm done. You're not. This takes a lot of work, a lot of iteration, a lot of testing. Once you think you have it down, start pitching people. See their reaction. Is it resonating with them? Is it clicking? Are you making your point, or are they left with a quizzical look on their face? Or do they say, oh, that's kind of cool, and then they walk away because they don't really give a shit, they just don't want to insult you. When they look at you when you pitch, are they saying, oh, I get that, that's very cool. Where do I learn more? How do I figure that out? Or I know someone that needs that. Right? That's the kind of reaction you need. And that comes from iteration. Continually practicing and changing. When we went through Techstars, I think we had, I don't know what the final count was, but somewhere around 80 different versions of our pitch before demo day. And it's changed since demo day. But I will never forget, and I'm good at this shit, right? I've done this before. It's still fucking hard, especially doing it for yourself. I can help anyone in this room like that. When I try and do it for myself, it's hard. Because you want to say everything. Right? You want to talk about all the wonderful things you're doing. And you don't want to miss anything because you're not sure what thing is that's going to really matter. And you can't. It's all about simplicity. And simplicity is really complex. Right? It takes getting rid of a lot of stuff. Right? What's the really critical thing to say first? So you have the opportunity to say the rest. It is constant work. Constant. And you should always be tweaking it and testing it and watching the emotion and seeing how people react and trying different things until you get it down. And once you get it down, you say it over and over and over. So at any point in time, you can launch into your pitch. I have keywords and phrases for my pitch that in any conversation launch me right into my pitch. Like I said when I started, if someone breaks into your house or apartment at 3 a.m, shakes your shoulders and says, what do? You sit up and you fucking pitch. That's your job. It's not optional. It's not something you can delegate. And you do it for the life of your company. I convinced one time the global CEO of Deloitte Consulting that this is how it worked. We were repositioning the whole company. I launched, for those of you who don't know, I actually launched the Deloitte Consulting brand in the mid-90s. I was their managing director of global communications. I was working with the global CEO. And I was walking him through this. And like 3 weeks into it, he said, David, I am goddamn sick of it. I can't say it again. I said, Pat, I don't care. You have to keep saying it. Every phone call you have, every interview you have, every time you talk to your employees or your customers or anyone, you have to say it. And about 3 months in, he called me in. He had just finished like an interview with the Journal or something. He looked at me and said, I think it's working. I said, it's just starting. He was like, oh. But that's how it works.
Okay, so I realize that in this particular case, these companies are learning how to pitch primarily to get investors. It's a venture funded situation. But I would argue that his point that he's making is really true for the vision you have for the business and your ability to share that vision with yourself, with potential employees, potential distribution partners. This idea of creating a dialogue that never changes or changes very slowly really does help with your business. You may be sick of it because you work it every single day, but as he said, others have never heard it before. It's brand new, and you may have that experience when you call on a new retailer, perhaps, or even customers that you might be encountering online or in festivals and other things. So the point of this, I guess, is the positioning of your product or your service is something that you have to really spend the time to really nail it and really understand it, so that when new people are asked about it, they all basically hear the same thing. So any thoughts, any reactions to other than his cussing, which I know is a little irritating? Branson, you got something up?
Oh no, every time I hear something different, and that's one of the videos that really helped me define like where I was at in the business around here. Because I had to find a category that no one was in and be able to pitch it, and it's starting to work. So
Fantastic. Glad to hear it. Hi, Candy Campbell. I don't think I've met you before. Do you have any reaction from your perspective?
Good morning, how are you? No, so I am actually just up and running. You haven't met me. I just finished working at a place, so I'm up and running and trying to get everything started here. I'm not sure what everybody else is doing, so my business is actually on a different aspect. I am trying to get my trucking and business running, so
Okay.
mostly my stuff is actually just running by. I will probably have the shipping and receiving individuals reaching out with them, and a lot of places usually just reach out as they see us going down the highway. So
Oh,
it's usually it's kind of easy. Usually if hey, I see you guys coming in and out, and they usually get us on that end, but social media is kind of like the easier way to get our name out there. I got a little slogan. Been working on something already in the
Okay.
past.
That's a way to do it. Everybody think the way you want them to think about your business. That's really the goal. So fantastic. All right. Well, any other comments or observations? That's all I have for you today. Tomorrow is one of the most fun sessions, and it's called newsjacking. And this is where you take stuff that's going on around you. News could be national, could be local, could be global, and use that to your marketing advantage. It's kind of fun thing, and it's very, very popular and an incredibly effective way to spread the word about your business in a way that may encourage more people to take a listen or a look at what you're doing. So I always enjoy that class. Also, as an FYI, we don't have class on Thursday because of something going on with the Department of Agriculture that I need to go to. So there won't be any class on Thursday. So other than that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow on Newsjacking.